Welcome back. It's the turn of Jennifer Jane Asante. Hey.
Hello, Steve.
It's your turn.
It's my turn?
Yes, please.
Okay, then I'll just start.
Okay.
All right. So Emmanuel Adebayo has been getting support across the continent for his post on financial obligations to family. Looks like Brother Man isn't alone in this.
So, he's been, virtually or literally heckled anytime he's in the camp of the Black Star.
I have heard of some really strange proposals, but this one takes the cake. A 29-year-old teacher defiled his 14-year-old pupil and during the trial begged the court to allow him to marry her. Whew. We made some of you judges for the day.
I will allow the man to get married, provided he's ready to marry the girl.
I will put him there for about 10 years.
10 years, huh? Well, in Dumso News today, the British Council Library in Accra shut down due to, yes, you guessed it, a power outage. The Dumso crazy is escalating as phone calls are being made. I'll be telling you a little more about that in a while. My name is Jennifer Jane Asante. This is JN Interactive. Well, you can join us. Join in the discussion, why don't you? It's Facebook. You can look us up with the name Joy News on TV. That same name can help you find us on Twitter. Or you can try with JN Interactive GH. An email could be sent through the address joynewsim@multitvworld.com or send me a WhatsApp 05401090009. That's how you can join the fun on JN Interactive. Now, a number of people across the continent have come out in support of Emmanuel Adebayo. From this morning's recap, which I'm going to do right now, hold on, Sheyi Emmanuel Adebayo says his family is seeking his downfall. His sister says the family doesn't even need him anymore. Now, both parties in this misunderstanding have taken to the media, that's social media, to wash their dirty laundry in public. If you are asked to advise them, what would you say? So let's take a quick look at some of your comments. Nana Kwating Paya says he's a public figure. Even if the family have rejected him, the world needs him, so they shouldn't do that. Augustine says, Sheyi, please don't talk again, okay? Love much. And Adnan thinks Adebayo has not offended his family. They said family first, but family are the first to get you hurt. Adnan is back with this statement. He says, even this family matter wasn't supposed to be out in public years. And Farah Amwating is offering her family if Emmanuel Adebayo wants to join it. All right, so now you know that the footballer and other members of his family are washing the family's laundry in public. The issue basically has to do with Emmanuel's financial obligations to his extended family. A situation the Togolese footballer is not alone in. Joy Sports' Ridwan Asante has been citing some other instances.
John Pencil, he's been, virtually or literally heckled anytime he's in the camp of the Black Stars, and it's a big issue for him to deal with. Stephen Appiah, he used to have, a lot of people, even when Stephen Appiah was injured and was not playing football, people would queue in front of his house waiting for Appiah to do something. I mean, it's just serious. The burden on players, just serious, and they can't contain it, at a point in time. I've had players, complain that their performance has been affected because of some of these social issues.
Now, other footballers who have been in Adebayo's shoes have told their story. You just heard from Ridwan on that. Now, this is not limited to footballers or people who are considered generally well-to-do. You have been sharing your experiences as well. Well, we're not ready with that just yet. We will bring it to you as soon as we can. However, I need to ask, how demanding is your family? Still talking about financial obligations to the family. It's an African tradition to give your first salary to your parents. Now, after living the hustler's life, it's an exciting moment when you check with your bank and you actually have money. You go home all happy and full of joy, and then they tell you to give it up. Does it make sense? Well, I'm going to be asking that question to Nana Ansako. You might be able to guess from the name I mentioned that he's a chief. So, hello, Nana.
Well, nice for having me on your show.
Yeah, I know. I've been on your show, but good to have you here.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Just a little bit. So, as chief of Edumasa, I'm pretty sure you're keyed in on all traditions and customs and norms and things like that.
Yes.
So you're the right person to be talking to.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so how did this tradition come about?
It started with creation. It started with Cain and Abel when they had to give their first fruits to God. And so generally, ever since time, ever since we got connected to God, ever since man got connected to God, you've always known that your first harvest, you give it to the unseen as a sign of appreciation. It is also believed that your first gift has got the most blessings in it. Okay. Then as we were working and we came off the farms and now we're getting cash for rewards, you get your cash and then you give it to your parents, your first pay. Because it is believed, again, same, that the blessings from your parents, it's awesome, supersedes all blessings. And your first gift is sort of the biggest gifts. So most parents may not take all the money from you. They will take the money, take a little bit, and then give you all the cash back. But the blessings you get from your mother and your father is also, but it's from creation. And then if you go to like traditional, like you look at the Homo, their first corn harvest, they do the quick play and then give it to the goats. And then if you look at like us, the first yam, we'll give it to the goats. And everywhere you go, whatever your harvest is, even be it fish, when you catch your first catch,
it has to go
back.
Right. Is it still applicable? I mean, we have moved on a bit in the world. Things are a little more sophisticated, a little more dynamic.
There's always blessing in giving. No matter how, so I don't know who brought that principle, right? And I don't care what anyone believes in. Somehow, if you give, you would always receive. I don't know where from.
Okay, but do I have to give it all? I mean, I've hustled for such a long time and I've been eyeing that laptop.
But it's only your it's only the first salary, just the first. I mean, look, they've taken you through school, they've seen you through, university, and sometimes even when you get your internship, you don't get paid, so they pay for your transportation and everything. So when you finally just get that one wage, just walk up to them and say, you know what, for all that you've done for me, here you go. And
so it's more like showing appreciation,
showing appreciation for that, because they've changed your life invaluably. I mean, you're not going to be the same again because they educated you. Now you have a job because they educated you. You're just going to give it to mom and dad, and your mom and dad will just take 5 cedis and give you that money back. I know your parents, but the blessings that they will give you for that appreciation will probably live with you for a lifetime.
Okay, well, Nana, thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
We've learned a lot. So, we put the question out there on the street. What did you do with your first salary?
Mine went to church, my church. I give it out to my church. Okay. Instead of my parents, it went to my church because I needed God blessings. So that's why I give it out to my church.
The Bible says that as a believer, you should make sure that you bring your first fruit to the house of the Lord. So what I did with my first salary was I presented it to the church. I remember that after being paid, I took my tithe out, and the remaining one I gave it to my parents, and they took some and just gave the rest to me. At least they gave me the major part. And as a boy, I needed some stuff, so I just got myself some new dresses so that I can use it to go to work.
I give it to my mom specifically. Yes, I give it to my mom. when I took my first salary, I wasn't really well. So my mom understands I was sick and I was treating myself with it. She actually understood. Even though I gave her some, I gave her like 100 Ghana, but the rest was just meant for my health purposes. That's all.
Traditionally, we know that it's a blessing if you give your first salary to your parents. You know, it's actually reflects on your future. You know, so on my first day, my first salary, I actually gave it to my mom. She divided it and gave me half.
Looks like that guy follows tradition. Let's check what you said about that on Facebook. Emmanuel Tego says, really? Never knew. Jamal says, used it for room rent and even started borrowing in addition to be able to feed. Most jobs do not take care of the accommodation of their new workers. They don't care where you come from or how you make it to work. Prince says, can I even remember what I did with it? I think I used it to buy a motorbike or a piece of land. Sounds like you were making an investment. Ejaho Charles says, bought a new Samsung phone for my mom and used the remaining at Monte Carlo, Tema. Well, at least you got your mom something nice. Majid says, I believe you're talking about those with financially disabled parents. Otherwise, those who are financially well-vested don't care as to whether their wards take a lump sum of money or not. George Yabua says, which tradition? When you've taken soft loans to pay for rent. Okay. Cornelia says, with tradition, it's very true, so that the ancestors will really open your way for good luck in your job. I sent mine to our family head. Okay. Yado Debris says, wanted to give, but is this ideal? Then you're going to pay fees. What do you do if you want to keep this tradition in its right proportion? Well, Nana explained it to you, so I guess you have your answer there. Now, a 14-year-old girl got justice today when the 29-year-old teacher who defiled her was sentenced for 18 years in prison. The story, which is on myjoyonline.com, tells the heartbreaking tale of how teacher Daniel Isiedu with the Asankare School in the Asante Akim South District in the Ashanti region defiled the girl on 3 different occasions during a visit to his home. She was actually returning textbooks. Now, during the trial at the Drassel Circuit Court, also in the Ashanti region, the 29-year-old pleaded with the judge to allow him to marry the girl. What would you do if you were in the judge's shoes?
They will allow the man to get married, provided he's ready to marry the girl. That's okay. But maybe sometimes people defy it and then they don't even accept it. That one is different. But this one, as he has come forward and he said he's going to marry the girl, I'm okay with it. If I were to be the judge, I'm okay.
I'll make him pay a fine to the family to at least, for them to know that at least like we are trying to do something about it. Because in a normal case, we would have arrested him or something, like put him in jail for some number of years. But since he has agreed to marry the girl, we just let him pay a fine and then go ahead with the marriage.
The law should take it, but not that because you can take care of someone, you just be abusing people or use advantage that you have, then you just do what you want to do because you think you have the money to do it. Even if it's the judge who did it, the judge should also be prosecuted. If the person was to be having legal age, that one fine, but minor, putting him in that murder way or whatever, I don't think is the best.
One, the girl is too young, 14 years. Secondly, he defiled the girl. So there is no way I'll allow that person, to marry the girl. No, because he actually didn't go the right way, And I'll put him there for about 10 years and probably find a way, if it's possible for the fetus to be aborted, fine. I think I'll allow that to be done. But marrying the girl, no.
So if you were the judge, what would you say? You heard what the people on the street said. We gave you that opportunity on Facebook. And let's take a look and see what some of you said. Paul Adumbo Sergio said some judges are too harsh. 18 years is too much. At least 5 years, and marry the girl as well. Not that I'm in support of what the teacher did. Henry Kweku Asafoje says, I will grant him his wish. What is the essence of this long jail term? Who caters for the pregnant mother and child? Shaking his head. Right. Kweku Wisdom was said, the decision would have to come from the victim. Nana Edumakun wants to know when the unborn baby grows and asks for the whereabouts of the daddy, what would be the answer? Would the government cater for the mother and the unborn baby? 18 years is too much. Even Woyome and KKD are free. No justices in Ghana. I'm not in support of this action. Osman Husseini says strict application of the law sometimes is detrimental to certain social needs. Okay, the teacher is punished by the law, fair enough. Will the law take care of the girl and the pregnancy? What the teacher did is an eyesore, is condemnable, but let's pause and observe the situation critically. I think the law should have mandated the teacher to work and take care of the poor girl. There's so much more. I can't go through all of it right now, but I think it might be a good idea, considering that quite a few of you on our Facebook post think that the 18-year jail term is too much. Now, you could be jailed up to 25 years for defilement, but here some of you have proposed a 5-year jail term for the man. I don't know about you, but this bugs me quite a bit, so why don't we get the expert opinion of a lawyer? We have Irene Abochinyahe, who's the director of the Legal Assistance Network Ghana, on the line. Hello, Irene.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Irene, just briefly, can you tell us, how serious is defilement? I'm not sure people understand that.
Defilement, for me, is the worst thing that can happen to a woman. It's a violation of your person. You know, you can do so many things to a woman, she can ignore it, but invading her person and sleeping with her without her consent, with or without her consent, especially when it comes to defilement.
Yeah.
And according to the law, the person should be less than 16 years. So it is the violation of the person, and the repercussions are so many. The person loses her own dignity. There are lots of problems that people even go through in life just because they were once defiled. Some even end up with mental problems.
Oh dear.
So there are no words to describe the effect of defilement. It's the worst thing that can happen to anybody.
Right now, in proposing shorter jail terms for this man, a lot of our viewers seem to think that alternative forms of punishment should be looked at. What do you have to say on that?
No, it's a statutory position of the law that you have between 7 years, at least 7 years, and a maximum of 25 years. And looking at this teacher in particular, he was put in a trust situation with a girl.
Okay.
He has a duty to protect and teach. So he is even more than a parent. So you are in a trust relationship with a girl of 14 years. And then you then turn around and start violating her person, the very person you're supposed to protect. So for me, the 18 years, he should have been given the maximum of 25.
Wow.
Because then our children, are they safe in our schools?
That's a good question, because she's 5 months pregnant now.
Yes.
So whilst the sentence was being given on, the man pops his hand up in court and says, my lord, please, you let me marry the girl instead. I mean, well.
He's just desperate and confused. The marriageable age in Ghana is even 18. So he's only worsening his own problem. And I think that the 18, it's even small, looking at the circumstances of this particular case. Yes.
Okay. Irene, I guess we're going to have to talk to you on a different platform just to delve into this a little more. But thank you for talking to us on JN Interactive.
Thank you very much.
All right. So on International Women's Day this year, the Member of Parliament for Tano North in Brong-Ahafo, Mrs. Frida Prempe, called for the passage of a legislative instrument that would oblige boys to marry the girls they impregnate. After what just happened, do you think it's a good idea or not? Well, we'll leave that to you to decide. and move on to other things. You see, earlier today, patrons of the British Council in Accra were startled by information put out on the British Council's Facebook page. Latif Idris popped over there to see what was up at the British Council.
Reports on other media houses earlier today indicated that Dumso has forced a shutdown of the British Council here in Accra. But speaking to officers in here, what they told me was that it is not the case that Dumso has forced a shutdown of the British Council. The challenge had to do with one of their generator sets, which had a bit of a challenge, and the situation has now been rectified. What really happened here was that an examination which was supposed to be taken here was moved to the Novotel Hotel as a result of the challenge they had with their generator set. Now, the British Council earlier on put out an information on their Facebook page which reads, "We are close to all general enquiries due to power loss. However, if you have a pre-arranged examination, please come to the British Council." That was the information British Council put out there. And what officers here are telling me is that it is not the case that Dumso has forced a shutdown of the British Council.
So, despite insisting all is well, the chaps at the British Council wouldn't speak to Latif on camera or allow him to film the premises? When we get back from this quick break, we'll be talking about the frustrations of Dumso. Going all the way down to Tete Kwashe. Now, there have been a lot of issues coming up from this thing, and Yvonne has been getting some rather upsetting phone calls simply because of the Dumso vigil. Well, you heard it for yourself, and that was only the end of the phone call. According to Yvonne, quite a number of things were said to her before she had the presence of mind to snap out of her shock and actually record that conversation. Now, I have found something from somebody who's done a little digging on that phone call. This is A+ post on Facebook, and he says that if we go up, yes, he said, according to Truecaller, there's a phone application called Truecaller that identifies the individual calling you. So according to that particular app, the number that called Yvonne Nelson threatening her and calling her an Ashawo belongs to one Apia Stadium. The voice also sounds like the Apia Stadium, who calls Peace FM, who I hear defected from the MPP. So people who ask for simple light or demonstrate as per the Constitution for a better life are Ashawo. Why is it so easy for some NDC guys to use the word Ashawo to describe women who demand that politicians deliver on their promise? Solving Dumso won't take a day, let's be honest. So he goes on to talk about it, and he calls on senior members of the NDC to call people to order. That was A+, the musician's take on the phone call that came to Yvonne Nelson. After that bit of depressing information, I think we need something to make us laugh. Let's take a joke.
In Japan, they invented a machine that catches thieves. They took it out to different countries for a test. In the USA, within 30 minutes, the machine caught 20 thieves. UK, in 30 minutes, it caught 500 thieves. Spain, 25 thieves in 20 minutes. Nigeria, 6,000 in 10 minutes. Uganda, in 7 minutes, it caught 20,000 thieves. Now Ghana, in 5 minutes, no thief was caught. The machine was stolen.
Right.
Well, that was funny.
Are you going for the vigil?
No, I'll be
No,
working.
yeah, you said no, emphatic no. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be working. I'll be here, so I will be covering the event.
Sure. That's it.
Will you?
I'm not going to answer you now. But
Ooh,
I'll make a decision
Stephen.
about it. My name is Stephen Enti.
And my name is Jennifer Jane Asante. Have a lovely evening.
Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.